All right, it's the Steve and Jesus show. As you can see, Jesus is out. He had to go take care of some business. So we got the boss man back, sporting the base, Jeff
It's
De La
Steve and
Rosa.
Jeff show this week again.
It's the Steve and Jeff show now. Exactly. We don't want Jesus anymore. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get into it, man. We got a lot of fantasy stuff. We got a lot of people asking us questions. Um, my man Jeff on the fantasy show. We get to get your insight.
Yeah, man.
Last time
Now,
we did pretty good last time. I know you saw the show. What do
yeah,
you got to say about that?
you guys were pretty spot on,
Spot on?
or as Mel B would say,
Touche.
spot on. But it's gonna be a little altered this week,
Okay.
simply because the Patriots have a bye week.
Yes,
That's gonna alter everything:
it is.
quarterback, running back, defense, everything.
All right, well, let's get into it. We're going to share our top fantasy of who we think the top three are. Jeff, let's start with quarterbacks. Who do you have for the top three plays for this week in the quarterback position and why?
Number one, I don't think there's any debating this one. This guy is right now, at least fantasy wise, the best quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm. All right.
He's averaging 32 plus fantasy points. The only person that's even coming close to him is Brady.
Yeah.
You gotta go with Aaron Rodgers. Number two, I'm going with my man Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
I'm going with Andy Dalton against Kansas City.
Okay.
He's ranked third right now in fantasy points. The only people ranked higher than him, obviously, are Rodgers and Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you see what he did this past week? He
I
just
did.
lobs it up there all day to Green. That's formula for a lot of points. I would consider picking him up if you don't have him on your fantasy team. Number three, I'm going with a guy who right now is healthy, and he's showing us what we all knew or thought we knew that he could do 2 years ago. This guy right now is beasting with the running game, just doing. He doesn't trust his teammates right now. He just trusts his own self. And I'm talking about Cam Newton.
Okay.
I got him at number three this week.
All right. I like your number one, and I'm going
All
to
right.
go with your number one at Aaron Rodgers. Because
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers against that horrible San Fran defense,
Exactly.
people seen what other teams have done to San Fran. So I don't have to tell you. He's going to put up the points. He's going to put another 30 bomb for you fantasy lovers out there. Here's where I disagree with you.
Okay.
Number two, you must absolutely have to put Andrew Luck. And the reason why I say you put Andrew Luck
But you've
is
been saying
because,
Andrew Luck for weeks now.
yes, but Andrew Luck has a weak schedule. Andrew Luck is playing Jacksonville. All right? Let's just see. Tannehill, and even though they lost to Jacksonville, still put up a decent number. Any quarterback that's playing Jacksonville, book it. They are going to be in the top three, okay? All right, unless you're a horrible quarterback, if you're a top fantasy name and you're playing Jacksonville, you're in there. And then number three, I also have to debate with you because this can go multiple different ways on who you pick. I like your pick there with Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton is a very good play against Tampa. I really do like that. You also have a couple of others that you can go with. But my favorite at the number three spot, you must go with Russell Wilson against that horrible Detroit defense.
Okay.
All right? Here's why. You've seen what Detroit's done, and even though an aging Peyton Manning put up, I believe, like 22 points, all right? And we can all admit the arm is just not there. In fantasy circles everywhere, people are worried. Peyton Manning's not the same. It's you make it. This is the last year for Peyton Manning, but Russell Wilson's a young guy. He's a young cat. Yeah, he has an offense that's predominantly, really with the run. But look what he did in a half when he was down sometimes. He could put up 20 points in a course of 15 minutes.
He can, but the inconsistency right now,
He is,
O-line
I
is
get it.
inconsistent. It's suspect.
I
Right now, I
get
have to
it.
go with the short thing. I'd rather go with a short thing. I mean, you can put Russell Wilson as maybe one of your sleepers this week. But I wouldn't put him as a short thing, top 3 quarterback.
Top 3 against Detroit. Book it. All right, let's
right.
go. Let's go into some running backs here. Your top 3 running backs on who you should play this week. 1 through 3. Go ahead.
I'm going with a guy who's warming up. He's warming up, getting better every week.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who that is. That's my man, Adrian Peterson.
Okay.
Who he got? He got Denver this week?
Yeah, I believe so. I could
I
check
like
that
him
for
against
you.
Denver.
Okay.
Put up maybe
Yes,
50
it is
points.
Denver. It is Denver.
Yep. So I like him.
Okay.
Number 2, and I'm biased because this guy destroyed me in my fantasy league this week. I'm talking about Joseph Randle.
Okay.
This guy had 3 touchdowns, and I don't see him slowing down. They don't hand the ball off to anybody else on that team.
Mm-hmm.
When they pick a rushing play or a running play, Randall's the man getting the ball. He's a monster.
He is.
Number 3, I'm going with Matt Forte. Maybe
All right.
that's a safe bet. Maybe that's a safe pick. I'm going with Forte.
All right. I like your number 3 so much that I'm going to put it number 1 because Matt Forte against Oakland,
Yep.
you got to love that matchup, okay? And the fact that, he catches balls out of the backfield, it's Oakland of all teams. He's gonna put up plus 20. It's definitely happening.
Whoa.
Book it. All right? Book it. The next one that I want to say is now that my man from Green Bay is a little bit healthier and he is playing that horrible San Francisco defense, who, again, if you look at their numbers in fantasy against running backs, is pretty nice. So Eddie Lacy goes number 2 on the list. He's going to get you touchdowns. He's going to be in the double digits. You can definitely expect that. And then number 3, I will agree with you, sir. I love my man Adrian Peterson against Denver. Peterson's going to do extremely well. You have to put him at number 3. All right, Jeff. What is your wide receivers? Who do you have for the wide receiver spot for your top 3?
Wide receivers, I'm going number 1. He's basically the sole target of his team. No other receiver touches the ball, basically, on this team. And I'm talking about Julio Jones. Matt Ryan just throws it, and when he throws it, the ball has a magnet directly to Julio Jones' arm. I'm going with him, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, this guy has reinvented himself, and I'm not sure if it's too early to say he's the real deal because the last couple seasons have been lackluster. But for this week, I'm going with Larry Fitzgerald as number 2. What he's been doing the last couple weeks,
even against that strong defense.
Yes, I think he'll get it. He won't get 2 touchdowns like he's been doing, but I think he'll get 1. I think he's a safe pick if you have him on your team. Number 3, I'm going with Randall Cobb. Again, one of those situations where he's the only receiver on the team. With Jordy Nelson gone, he just gets all the targets. This guy is a monster.
Absolutely.
Randall Cobb.
I do like those 3, sir, so much so that it's almost the same. And here's why, all right? It's almost the same. Because number 1 on my list, who I think who's going to absolutely blow up, and you kind of just highlighted this dude, his quarterback at least, so I'm a little bit shocked that you're not going to go with him.
Okay.
It's got to be my man A.J. Green. A.J. Green is gonna put up
He was a
big
late
numbers.
Scratch. He was a last-minute scratch.
Come on, man. I mean, A.J. Green is playing the 32nd ranked defense against wide receivers in fantasy. You got to eat that up. You got to eat that up. Number 2, to your point, sir, Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is going to get the targets. Again, we're putting Green Bay, any big names in Green Bay, you're playing them. It is a guarantee because they're going – San Francisco looks bad. Let's be honest. They look bad. And then my number 3, I will concur with you, sir, and I will go Julio Jones because my man Julio Jones can catch anything. It doesn't matter what matchup he's in. He's been destroying the league. So he's going to continue that. He's going to get the points. You got to love it. Now, this one is going to be interesting because my man Gronkowski, who we always pick number 1 on the show, is on a bye.
Well, that's why I said because of this bye week, this altered everything.
This does
Brady
alter.
would have been number 1 in quarterbacks. Gronk would have been number 1 in tight ends.
So I would like to pose this, a question to you, sir. Your top three, who do you have in this one?
Well, it's the next tier. After Gronk, then you have everybody else.
Okay.
Number one, obviously, Jimmy Graham. I'm going with Jimmy Graham.
Okay.
He's starting to heat up. At the first couple of weeks, we were like, oh, is he done? Is he going to be able to work in that offense?
Mm-hmm.
But he's starting to pick up his rhythm.
All right.
Number two, he was probably been number two for the last few weeks, is Travis Kelce.
Okay.
And, of course, number three is Greg Olsen. I believe you had him in your top three last week.
I did
I have him
indeed.
number three this week.
So I have it a little bit different than yours, but the same three. All right.
Okay.
All right. Number one, obviously Jimmy Graham against that horrible Detroit defense. If he doesn't put mad points there, there is a problem there. He should.
Or happy points. Either way, mad or happy.
Exactly.
It's going to be a lot.
Exactly. Number two, I actually have to go Greg Olsen. The fact that Greg Olsen won your fantasy league last week. Won your fantasy games last week because, he put up, I believe, 2 touchdowns, over 160 yards, and 8 catches. That's a lot.
Balls.
That's a lot. That's called balling out.
If I recall correctly, Jesus wasn't believing you.
He was not. He was not. And I said, hold on to Greg Olsen. You stay with him. And the people that who stayed with him, they got rewarded. All right. And then number three, of course, I agree with you, sir. Travis Kelce, you have to go with him. He's still putting up points. And that's your three right there. Very easy. Lastly, sir, before we hit the break, we're going to do the defenses. My favorite one. Now, this is tough because
this one was tough.
There's a lot of places across the board. Not a lot of points you can get here. Who do you recommend for defenses for you?
This is a toss-up. Number one, I'm going with the Cardinals, simply because the Rams' offense has allowed a lot of points to opposing defenses this season so far. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals first.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, and this team's defense is probably on a lot of people's top fives. They always have been. The Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
I like them against the Lions. So I'm putting them second.
Okay.
Number three, I might be a little biased because I'm a New Yorker. I'm going with the Jets against Miami.
All right.
Jets showed us that the first couple weeks, they stumbled a little bit last week, but the first couple weeks, Revis led the charge, and they showed us that defense is legit.
Okay. All right. I can understand that. All right. Well, here's my top ones. Number one, you got to go with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are playing the Bucs. They're going to get some points. I think they're currently ranked in the top 5 for defenses and fantasy. You got to put them in there. Tampa.
You're not showing your Bucs no love.
I love my Bucs, but they love to turn over the ball. Here's a stat for people who don't follow the Bucs. They are currently holding the record for longest consecutive game of giving a turnover up. So book 2 points.
Let me erase mine.
Exactly. So the Panthers should be number one on your board. Number two, who I like, out of what you could pick out there, you gotta you gotta consider. You gotta go with you gotta go with the Eagles. I've been on the fence on this one, and here's why. Because the Eagles are predominantly not a good defense.
No.
But Washington is a very bad offense. So you think it's going to be a close, low game. You're probably going to get, an interception or a sack of somewhat. It's going to happen. You can book 10 points, 9 to 10 points. It's a safe play that you're going to get. You know it's going to happen. So you just got to roll with it. And then the next one that I have, this is a crapshoot, but of the best ones that you can pick, I got to agree with you, my man. I think you got to go with the Seattle Seahawks defense. You could go with the Colts here against the Jaguars, but I still like the Seahawks. Good defense against Detroit. Stafford's not looking good. That's my top 3 right there.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that was our first part. We're going to take a short break with my main man across the screen. He's going to pitch a little commercial to you.
Let's sip some water.
Yeah, we'll be back with some more fantasy.
Sport and Debate is more than just a website or a podcast to me. It's a platform for all fans, from the diehard to the casual, to come together and embrace their love and their passion for sports. And I think that's what separates us from the rest. We love that passion, and we're ready to embrace the debate.
All right, guys, we're back with some more fantasy action for you guys. I got Jeff on the other side of the screen with me. He gave you that lovely little pitch from sportingdebate.com where you can check out articles, check out some videos, check out anything else, debate. It's all about...
To recap this podcast.
Exactly. It's all about embracing the debate, so definitely check that out. So we're going to get to some questions, Jeff, and then we'll go to our last segment and talk about who we think are some sleepers, who we think are overrated, and any final thoughts on fantasy. So, from @DuckSlayer27, another big Week 4 decision. Who should I play? Joe Flacco or Phillip Rivers?
Oof. I don't like either one of those guys.
You gotta pick one.
That's tough, man.
It is tough.
Throw a coin up.
A toss-up? Here's what it is. I'll be honest with you. You go with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, in my opinion, has better targets. He has the guy who, if I told you to play last week, blew up for you. You know who that is, right?
Who's that?
You know who that? You don't know who that is? My man was huge for wide receivers. I believe he scored roughly around, I want to say, 20 points. And he got, I believe, 12 targets. That was Keenan Allen. I spoke of that. Keenan Allen is the main guy. Yes, you still have...
You did mention that.
I did mention this. You have Stevie Johnson as well. For Joe Flacco, it comes down to this. There's just nobody on that team who can catch the ball that I like. I like Steve Smith Sr., but I just like the Chargers better. I think you go with Phillip Rivers. All right, next question. We have from @NFLFan3. Who should I start this week? Vincent Jackson or Sammy Watkins?
I'm going with Sammy Watkins.
Why is that, sir? Explain.
I mean, I just don't trust Vincent Jackson. I understand Sammy Watkins is in the same category where he's inconsistent. We haven't seen what we were expecting from him from last year. But it's that I don't want to call it a sophomore slump. But I think eventually he's going to find his footing and he's going to get it together, man. This is a guy that, you can watch out for him and just insert him in the flex every week. Plus, he's young.
He is young.
I tend to trust younger guys more so than older guys. Once their bones start tweaking, there's no telling.
Look, there's no doubt. Sammy Watkins is the more talented guy. That is no question. But when you look at both wide receiver and quarterback, Vincent Jackson has the better opportunity. And you go Vincent Jackson because simply there is no more Safarian Jenkins who stole some targets. Yes, you do have Mike Evans coming back, and Mike Evans will get, a good majority of the targets.
Exactly.
But if you notice, Jameis Winston is still throwing Vincent Jackson the ball. I mean, he got targeted about 6-7 times. So he's still being targeted. And he was a red zone option. So out of the two, if you're trying to go for a higher ceiling and trying to get those massive points with a touchdown, I go Vincent Jackson. That's just my
we could place a friendly wager if you like.
Hey, we could book it.
I'm saying Sammy Watkins is going to have a better week.
Book it. Vincent Jackson. Book it. All right. Done. All right, next question we have from Duck Slayer again, sending another one. Who should I start? Eric Ebron or Delaney Walker?
That's a tough one because I have Eric Ebron in my fantasy league. And the weeks that I didn't start him, he would get a touchdown. He got touchdowns in consecutive weeks. And then when I would start him, he wouldn't get a touchdown. But I think he's due this week again. I would start Eric Ebron. He's been consistent all week since week 1, every week.
All right. You know what? I got to go Eric Ebron too. Eric Ebron is definitely more talented. He's going to get more targets as well. Delaney Walker's in a good position.
He is.
You know, he don't get it. It's a really, really close one. But for right now, Eric Ebron is still a little bit more talented. And number two, he has a better quarterback.
Yeah.
So it tends to swing his way. All right, next one. Let me see who we have here. We have, who should I start? Marshawn Lynch or Eddie Lacy? That's a great
That
league if you got both of those.
that's a great team, but it depends if Lynch plays.
Yeah,
It depends if the problem is Lynch doesn't play till Monday.
yeah. This sounds like this is like a four-team league, and you can only play like one running back because I would say you start them both if
I'm gonna
that's what
go.
you have.
Yeah, I mean, just because of the hamstring situation with Lynch, I would have to go with Lacy because it's a short thing this week.
I agree. I would go with Eddie Lacy. Plus, he's playing that San Fran D.
Mentioned, yeah.
It's gonna be it'll be better. All right, here's another one. At what point do I start Marcus Mariota? Hmm.
It depends who your other quarterbacks are.
Hmm.
I had Marcus Mariota on my team on the bench just in case, and I dropped him. But
Okay.
he looked impressive the last few weeks. You know, he's not a pushover. But
Yeah.
it all depends on who your other quarterback is. I mean, obviously you're not going to start him over Brady, Rodgers, Matt Ryan, any of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, look, it simply comes down to this. It depends on what type of league you're in, all right? And this question, I forgot to mention, came from at smooth underscore for life. Um, Look, it depends on what league you're in. If you're in a keeper dynasty league and you pick him up, I would pick him up now. I
Yeah,
mean,
stash him.
that's somebody you stash. You wait until end of the season. Maybe he could turn it around because a lot of his qualities remind me of Cam Newton when he first came into the league,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and came blowing up and going crazy. And Marcus Mariota has the same type of style where he'll run and he'll get some yardage and whatnot. But for right now, in a standard league, and you have a quarterback, why? There's a lot of other guys that you could pick up there
Yeah.
that are doing pretty decent. You know, you could look at a Carr. You could look at a Stafford who could be out there. You could look
And
at
Andy
uh,
Dalton is available in most leagues.
exactly Andy Dalton's still out there. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of guys still out there. Jameis
So,
Winston, Eli Manning. The
yeah.
list goes on and on. It simply goes if you're in a standard league, you got to go with the matchup. And if the matchup is in the favor, then you go with that quarterback with the matchup. Otherwise, there's no point in
Otherwise,
stashing.
stash them and hold them for a bye week.
Exactly. Here's another one. This is interesting from at Pierce Wessel.
Okay.
Should I start Dante Moncrief or T.Y. Hilton? Huh.
It's a good
Moncrief
one.
has more points than T.Y. Hilton.
I like Moncrief a lot.
So, Jeff, I ask you this. Who would you start?
I like Moncrief a lot. He's shown me what he's been doing the last few weeks. He's shown me he's getting targets. He's making plays. He's getting yards. I would go with Moncrief.
This one is tough for me. But I'm sticking with my man T.Y. Hilton for the long ball. Look, here's why. If you're in a PPR league, you go Moncrief all day. Moncrief will get some targets. He'll get some catches. I would definitely take Moncrief in more of a PPR situation. But T.Y. Hilton is the type of guy who will get you 15 points in one play. Okay? And they are playing Jacksonville. I
Yeah,
do
but when was the
want
last
to
time he
remind
did
you.
that, though? When was the last time he did
I
that?
know it's been a while, and I know he's come off injury. But remember the last time he played Jacksonville last year. I believe my man got an 80-yard play for a touchdown. So I'm just saying, keep in mind, I would go T.Y. Hilton based on that. But, hey, everybody has their own opinions. So that's
No,
it.
give the man an answer. Who does he start, man? I'm telling him
T.Y.
it's Moncrief.
T.Y.
You
Hilton.
stash Hilton on
T.Y.
the
Hilton.
bench until he becomes more consistent.
Start T.Y. Hilton. You'll
All right.
thank me. You will
All right.
thank me. All right, sir. Let's get into our next segment now. Who do you have as a bust for this week?
There's a lot of busts, man. You know what? This guy is probably going to continue to be a bust until they stop mentioning his name.
Okay?
and it's gonna be Megatron.
Oh,
I don't even want
you
to give
agree
him a
with me.
nickname anymore.
You
I just want to
agree
call
with
him Calvin Johnson. He's just a regular guy now to me.
He agrees with me. I said that last week,
You said
and
it
I
last
won
week.
that, and didn't I win that bet? I wish Jesus was on this show. I
You
wish.
won the bet, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is the week where he turns into Megatron. Maybe this is the week. But no, I'm starting to believe, no, it's not coming. It's not happening.
Yeah, I would go that way, and I would say Megatron, but there is one guy that I have big concerns, and I'm already hearing people that they're gonna plug in their lineup, and
Don't
he's
say
gonna come
Demaryius
back.
Thomas.
He's gonna come back. No, he's gonna come back and get 20 points, and he's gonna be the guy of old before he got injured. Is Arian Foster? Stop it. The
Okay.
people who have Arian Foster do not play him. I know what the projections say. I play on all these different leagues, okay? On multiple different sites, okay? I know what the projections on, and I won't mention names and give everybody free props, but even on the sites where you can play multiple people, they have them at a high price. Arian Foster is not worth the play this week. Do not play him. He will be bust factor for you if you decide to play him. So stop it.
What makes him lucrative is the fact that if he's healthy, he's their whole offense.
Yes.
That's Houston's offense. They just
Yes.
keep handing him the ball, and that's why they keep projecting him to get 15, 16, 20 points every week until they find out he's not going to play.
Exactly.
You don't know when he's going to play.
Exactly. And he is playing Atlanta. But I'm telling you, he's coming back from injury. He's going to be slow. He is not going to be that guy. Give him an extra week. Otherwise, you're going to be upset. Because here's an example. I have Eddie Lacy in one of my leagues. Eddie Lacy went down the week before. I didn't play him this week. Good thing I didn't. He only got me 8 points. I played Freeman from Atlanta. I got me 32. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's good to just rest your guys, let them heal up, and you'll be fine. So, all right. Who do you have, sir, for the guy who's going to blow up? That deep sleeper out there. Who do you have?
Okay. In my mind, I've been waiting for this guy every week. Even the projections on all these sites are waiting for him to get at least a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is finally the week where he gets a touchdown, gets you double-digit points. I'm talking about Justin Forsett.
Ah, okay.
He's due. I understand that, some people think he's a product of the offense. He's a product of Kubiak. He's due. He's too much of a talent to not be due. He's due. Week 4 is going to be his week.
All right. So you're saying that he's going to blow up, to hold on to him, to not trade him? Because I know somebody who actually dropped Justin Forsett after this week.
I'm holding on to him. In my league, I'm holding on to him.
They gave up on him, and they were just like, I don't want to do this. I'm so upset.
A lot of people dropped Larry Fitzgerald after week 1. Look what happened.
You're very right. You are very right. There is one guy that I say that is not, he's not really performing well, but I think this is his breakout game. I think, he's a young man. He is ranked a little bit on the low on the charts, but he's a bad man. And they've been giving him more and more, and he's been taking him more and more. But I think he's going to have his blowout game. This is the guy who, if you have him on your squad, you better play him. That's Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon, please stand up. Melvin Gordon, I feel like is going to come out.
You've been giving him prop. I believe he was your pick last week.
No, he was not. He was not my pick last week. He was my pick. I think that was Jesus' pick, and that was a couple of weeks ago. Okay. But I'm picking him this week because he's been averaging okay numbers at best. In standard leagues, he's only getting you 4, 9, and 5 points. This is the week the man comes out and gives you 15, 16 points.
Now, I'm going to throw a couple other names out there. If this guy is healthy enough to play, big if, I want to throw Lynch's name out there as a super sleeper. Because he's also due. If he's healthy enough that they think he can go out there, I think he's going to finally get you a touchdown this week. Now, if you have him on your team, you might want to pick up Thomas Rawls.
Yes.
Like I did.
Yes.
Because when they took Lynch out, what was it, halftime, the last game?
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through the first half? They brought in Riles, and he came in and ran for 100 yards.
Yeah.
So you want to pick him up if he's available, just
Look,
in case.
here's the thing. I'll be very honest with fantasy world out there, I should say. And that is, if Marshawn Lynch gets you another 6 points or less, you need to sell him. You need to get rid of him, get as much as you can, move on, because the time is coming to an end. We don't see Marshawn Lynch have 3 consecutive bad games.
Never.
He is having that if he plays in Detroit and does not score. So I just want you fans to be aware. You might want to start selling on Marshawn Lynch. That's our show. Jeff, thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yep.
As always, sportingdebate.com sponsors the show, so definitely check them out. New articles every day, new content, videos. You see the logo there. So that is our show. Thanks again, and tune in next time for some
Shout
more
out to
fantasy.
Jesus.
Absolutely. And Jesus, make it next time to work, please. All right. See you.
Good luck, everybody.